This podcast is presented by Skies Magazine. If you're interested in the Canadian aviation industry, Skies is your go-to multimedia resource for the latest news, in-depth features, stunning photography, and insightful video coverage. Whether you're an aviation professional or enthusiast, Skies is dedicated to keeping you informed and bringing your passion for aviation to life. Visit skiesmag.com to learn more and subscribe to stay updated on all things Canadian aviation.
Fuel and ignition switches on. RPM switches set. TD switches normal. Doors and hatches closed. Light out. Strobe light on. Restart check is complete. Clear left. Engineers, start number 2. Starting 2. Wind 310 Pilot Project Podcast. Clear takeoff. Runway 31 left.
All right, we're ready for departure here at the Pilot Project Podcast, the best source for stories and advice from RCAF and mission aviation pilots, brought to you by Skies Magazine. I'm your host, Brian Morrison. With me today is Pascal Duclos, an aerial firefighting pilot with Service Aérien Gouvernemental du Québec. Pascal, welcome back to the show. I've been looking forward to this. Listeners can tune into part 1 of our chat to hear about Pascal's early career, his flight training, as well as how he arrived in LA County and began to fight the fires there. Today, for part 2 of our chat with Pascal, we're going to talk about the challenges he and his crews faced, how the fires were finally brought under control, and some of the differences between fighting fires in LA and Quebec. So let's roll right into talking about some of the challenges you faced over there. The airspace must have been extremely busy at times. How was all that managed?
Yeah, it was a really busy airspace, even on the beginning with all the chopper responding to the fire there. It's mainly managed by the what we call a HELCO. It's a helicopter controller there. And when it gets bigger, we get more people involved. There's some agency who's going to take care of the traffic control from the fixed wing. The HELCO going to switch to the lead plane or other kind of fixed wing controller guys on the airplane who are going to control the traffic, especially for, let's say, one side of the fire, and get control of, let's say, left side of the fire and manage all the fixed wing on the left side.
Okay, so they start to split up the responsibilities.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. How does the increased air traffic with more helicopters and fixed wing aircraft affect the safety and effectiveness of aerial firefighting operations?
It is, with all the smoke in the area, the restricted visibility and vicinity of fire, it's the main concern for all the pilots. When you head into the fire and the visibility going low, you certainly want to make sure the line is clear before you go into the drop zone. So it's a big concern for every pilot in the fire environmental thing.
Does it take some time to get used to that? Like at first, do you find yourself nervous when you're new to it?
I guess you just trust the whole guys who they are used to, but for sure you start thinking about that when you get into the smoke and didn't see nothing and you heard somebody and getting out of the smoke.
Yeah, for sure. It reminds me a little bit of flying. I think I might have said this to you in our pre-interview call. It reminds me of doing anti-submarine work down low at night. You can't see anything. You know there's helicopters below you, and you just have to trust that everybody's following the rules and procedures, and that's going to keep everybody safe.
Yeah, that's you're just hoping everybody's following the rule. But these days, it's much easier with the iPad and the ADSB traffic advisory and TCAS and everything. So it's much easier to have better situational awareness in the fire area.
Yeah, I guess that new technology would be like a huge boost to your situational awareness.
Yeah, for sure.
So as you're aware, one of the CL-415s was out of service temporarily due to a collision with an unauthorized drone. How frustrating was that for you and the other pilots, given how unnecessary and dangerous that was?
It was really frustrating for us, for sure, because we just get back of the first mission of the day. That day we hit the drone, and the plane was, of course, down for a few days, right? Yeah, so it was really disappointing for the help we can brought to the fire, because that was planning to go back on the Palisade fire at this time when we get back, and the technician realized we hit the drone because the crew didn't notice any sound or
Oh, really?
feeling of the drone impact.
Wow. I would have thought they would notice that.
No, nobody noticed. That was with all the communication and the wind, the turbulence and everything. So it's
Super noisy and bumpy, so you just wouldn't feel it or hear it.
yeah, exactly.
What was the damage to the aircraft?
Well, there was a pretty big hole on the left, let's say 3/4 wings span of it. So there was a pretty big hole there. When the technician get up, he found the drone inside of the wings and with some part of the drone, and they found the battery inside of the wing as well. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So what would have happened if that had hit, say, an engine and caused an engine failure? What happens to a CL-415 if you have an engine failure when you have a belly full of water?
We are trained to manage that for sure, so we can manage it. But of course, an engine failure can be dramatic if something went wrong, or if it's on the worst place. Let's say just after the scoop or just before the drop, you're heading into the canyon and you have engine failure. I don't know. If you forget something in the sequence, it could be really dangerous. And, so we were lucky it was happening only on the wings, but even on the wings could be really dramatic. If you think about the battery getting hot and explode inside of the wing, you have fuel tank over there, fuel nacelle, so it could be dramatic as well. Even on the wind shear, it could go through.
Yeah, it's super lucky that that battery didn't experience like a catastrophic failure, overheat and explode. That would have been crazy.
Yeah.
So overall, what is it like to fly in such congested airspace?
It's a little bit stressful for sure, and you are like looking all over the place to see the traffic, see because you still have to look at all the terrain hazard you can have. So we are two in the cockpit, and this sometimes is feel not enough to see everybody and all the hazards. So.
Yeah, I can imagine. Now, on board, you're listening to 4 different radios during firefighting operations. Are there any strategies you use to maintain clear and effective communications in the air?
Yeah, four seems a lot, but when you get used to, you play with the volume on the each radio, and so you get used to. You listen 4, you're talking only on the 1, so it's doable with everybody.
Yeah. Do you divide it up? Like, do you say, hey, you listen to radios 2 and 3, I'll listen to radios 1 and 4, or anything like that?
The captain will listen all 4 for sure. Sometimes the co-pilot is the guys who talking in the lace. So sometimes the co-pilot divides some. He will say to the captain, "I will let you the FM radio."
Mm-hmm.
So because you have to talk if something is buzzy in the FM radio, so we switch. Divide up for to be able to talk.
I'm picturing how busy you guys must be. It's got to be crazy because, again, I can only relate to my own experience, but on the Aurora, we had a flight engineer, right? So we were busy, we were flying low. We were listening to 4+ radios sometimes. And I've talked about the traffic we would encounter, but we had a flight engineer to manage our systems. And if there was an emergency or something, we had a systems expert sitting in between us. So it must be really challenging with just the 2 pilots on board.
It is challenging. Especially in Los Angeles area.
Yeah, no doubt.
With all the control zone and the traffic, because sometimes you have traffic outside of the TFR fire zone, let's say.
TFR is a temporary flight restriction, right?
Yeah, it is. So because for us, we're going to need to go outside of the TFR to scoop. So you're going to have to manage all the control zone and the civil traffic, and on top of all the rest you have to manage. So
wow, I never even thought of that. But yeah, you have to transit to and from the fire area. And I guess they don't just stand up some kind of corridor or anything for you. You have to transit as if you were any other aircraft, but you must get priority, right?
We tend to stay out of the control zone for most of the time. But if you have to go through some control zone, you're going to request the priority for sure.
Okay. So we're talking about how you transit there. Speaking of scooping, you scoop water from both reservoirs and the ocean in these operations. Can you describe the techniques and challenges of operating out of the reservoirs of California?
Scooping out of the reservoir is it's challenging because the reservoir has is pretty small. It's not as big as a lake. So some are pretty big, like Cascade Reservoir, but other are smaller, like the Santa Fe Reservoir. So yeah, it can be really challenging. So you have to manage the amount of water you're gonna have, enter, exit, the wind. Yeah, it's really a teamwork when you go there. So you have to talk with the other crew to just to make sure everybody understand what we're gonna do and where we're gonna do.
What kind of challenges specifically for the reservoirs? Like, do you have a lot of obstacles to worry about, or are they typically pretty clear around them? Or
Normally it's pretty clear, but there's some with the power line at the end of either on exit or entry. So just everybody goes through by a good briefing
yeah,
before the scoop and even after the scoop if something went wrong or if somebody is not comfortable with that. So just make sure everybody is aware of every hazard there, or everybody needs a good situation awareness for that.
it reminds me sort of when you're doing your private pilot license training and you're doing a precautionary emergency landing. Do you do sort of that same idea where you do a flyby and look at the reservoir and observe it for obstacles and length and wind and all those things?
Yeah, it's almost the same. Yeah,
Okay.
it's basically doing extend touch and go because you stay in the water for 12 to 15 seconds to scoop all the 1600 gallons. So it's kind of an extend touch and go, but you have to make sure the entry and the exit is good.
Okay.
Even if you have like a engine fire, engine fail, or something like that. So
Okay. Sounds really challenging.
it is, yeah.
Yeah. What special challenges are involved in scooping from the ocean?
From the ocean, it could be really, really bumpy because the frequency of the wave are different than what you're gonna have from wind waves. So they call it a swell. So it could be really rough and could break the plane if you go wrong way or if you go too big swell. So when it goes big, you tend to just scoop the top of the swell or the wave. So you need to keep the plane flying. Let's say that.
Okay. So you're basically flying along the crest of the swell and scooping from there?
Yeah.
Does the salt affect the aircraft at all, or the water tanks and lines or anything like that?
Yeah, the salt affect the plane for sure. So every time we go in the ocean, the technician need to wash the plane inside of the tank, water tank, and outside after the day or a few days of scooping inside of the ocean. And we need to do a compressor wash as well for the engine.
Oh, yeah.
So you're probably gonna have to do that when the army, right? Since you fly just over the ocean.
Yep. Yeah, we have rules that basically if you fly below a certain altitude, you have to go through, we call it the bird bath. It's this huge thing that sprays the plane down. So the technicians have to do extra stuff as well. And it's a lot of work for sure for them.
Yeah, it's almost the same thing, but we just don't have a big shower. So they do that by hose and brush.
Oh, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is.
So new captains have to train to scoop from the ocean. Do you do that training during active firefighting missions? And if not, when?
No, we don't do that training during fire mission. We do that on the day, which seems calm day. It's going to be an alert day for sure, but let's say there's no active fire in the area, so we can do training, and we try to find a not too rough day just to make sure the new captain or the candidate can learn from the training and cannot be scared,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because if the conditions are too difficult, they're not going to learn anything.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's the same principles we follow in the Air Force with our student training. Like, it's okay to have conditions be challenging, but there's a limit where any type of learning is just not going to happen because they're struggling too much with the conditions.
Exactly.
Do you eventually say you do it on a calm day after that? Do you take them out on a rougher day?
No, because we try to don't do ocean scooping often, so we just do that on the necessary.
Right.
So it's going to be one training for captain, and after that, it's going to be released.
Okay.
And that's it. After that, he's going to pick up his say his own technique with the base of the technique you can have in the scoop on the ocean. So so that's a one-shot deal for the training.
Is that because it's hard on the plane or because it's dangerous, or why do you do it as little as possible?
Just because it's hard on the plane for sure, and for maintenance guys as well.
Yeah.
That's bringing a lot of work on after the training. So when it's not really necessary, we're not gonna go in the ocean.
Yeah, for sure. So partly it's just being considerate for your ground crew.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What performance challenges do you face when taking off full from Santa Fe, considering the weight of fuel and water? Because you're taking off with full water from Santa Fe, right?
Yeah. In Los Angeles, we're taking off from Van Nuys with 5,000 pounds of fuel. So we're going to be able to scoop from Santa Fe, let's say almost full of water. So depend on the wind and the temperature, of course, and the situation, the waiting time you're gonna do before scooping. Because when we're taking off from Van Nuys, we're taking off with water, just like we said before, I guess. So we're going to head to the fire directly from the first takeoff. And after that, we're going to do all the procedure to get in the fire. And after that, heading to the Santa Fe to holding kind of a recon flight, just like I said, to see all the hazard, to make sure there's no people in the lake,
Yeah.
like on a canoe or something like that. So, and after that, we're going to scoop. So that's going to burn quite a bit of fuel. So we're going to be able to scoop almost full load of water. So.
Okay. What are the performance challenges like when you're departing, when you're that heavy? How does the plane perform under those conditions? It's quite hot, right?
Yeah. Fire weather means mainly hotter days. So it's when you get off full of water, it's not going to have a big performance on a climb out. So, but the Santa Fe is not that bad because you have just on one way you have a small dam at the end, which is maybe like 5 feet. So it's pretty easy to clear that out. So
you've mentioned that when you're flying in California, you're always on the edge of performance limits. Can you give us some examples of that?
Yeah, just like the Santa Fe, if you go on the hot day, like 40, 43 degrees, no winds, that's going to be really challenging for the climb out. Let's say you lose an engine or something like that, that's going to be more challenging for sure. By the time you drop your water, after that's not bad. And last winter was really the wind effect was putting us to the limit of the airplane. The wind we had, it was really bumpy and was right at the edge of the limit of the plane.
Yeah.
Even for the scoop on the ocean, 3 or 4 feet of waves. So scooping just only at the top with a crosswind. So it was a left crosswind. So to me, it was the edge of my capacity to scoop out of the ocean that day.
And that's saying something since you're one of the more experienced pilots as well, right?
I will not say I'm one of the more experienced pilot, but I'd say let's say an average of the guys.
Sure. Sure. I like the humility. Just out of curiosity, what kind of climb rates are you seeing in those conditions when you're full? And what kind of climb rates would you see if you were to lose an engine?
When we're full of load, let's say in 40 degrees, light wind, you're going to have between 300 and 500 feet per minute of climb. If you lose an engine, it's going to be almost the same. We'll say 300 more slightly at 40 degrees light wind.
But that's when you've dumped the water, or?
Yeah, you dump the water. So the first action you're gonna have to do if you lose an engine is gonna dump the water. What is challenging in Los Angeles is if you are able to keep the control of the airplane even with the engine out, you're gonna try to manage when you're gonna drop the water because you don't want to hurt anybody in the ground because you're not in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, for sure, because that water comes down with like a lot of force, right?
Yeah. So so that's one of the challenging part operating in the city area.
Okay. Could you describe the difficulties posed by updrafts and downdrafts in the hills of Los Angeles and how you navigate these conditions? How difficult is the terrain itself?
Yeah, with the hybrid terrain, mountainous terrain, you have to think about the wind. You have to try to anticipate the wind direction for the updraft and downdraft is really challenging when you're not used to. But it's just like going on bicycle. Sometimes you get used to and you don't really think about it, but you do something. So you take one side of the valley because your gut feeling go there. So it just takes time, and after a while, it's just like kind of come naturally to go on a good side.
You kind of learn to read the terrain and read the winds and that sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. With the valley, the wind's going to follow the valley and can give you a updraft somewhere or a downdraft. So you just have to be aware of that. Again, after a bit or while, you're going to know, and it's going to be like a kind of second nature to read that, but it's not a really read because you cannot see nothing. It's just you feel, you anticipate what's going to coming in front of you.
Yeah, like you said, it's a bit of a gut feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I would imagine visibility is a challenge when passing over the fires. What is it like passing over the fires, and how do you stay safe at low altitudes when visibility drops in the smoke?
Passing over the fire, it's almost like going inside of the dryer. Can imagine you going inside a dryer, putting the dryer on and put a mask in front of your eyes so you don't see nothing, and you go boom, 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 boom. So
Wow.
because it's going to be big temperature change, momentarily loss of visibility, and you're going to drop eventually. So that's going to go put you higher, lighter, so you're going to climb out. So the most important thing is to keep the wing straight. So you don't want to turn, because if, let's say you are on the left turn and you have a hot spot on the right wing, which is already 30 degrees or 20 degrees on a turn, that can turn you over. So you don't want to do that.
It'll push that wing further up.
Yeah. So that's the most important thing. You keep straight and drop your water and go instrument flying for, let's say, a few seconds, 5-10 seconds.
Wow.
Depend of the intensity of the fire. One of the baseline is if you don't see through, you don't go through. This is one of the baseline, but sometimes you cannot see through because maybe black smoke or something like that. So in Los Angeles, we don't go through black smoke because the intensity of the fire is really bigger than what we have in Canada. But because of the vegetation is different,
Mm-hmm.
So, but in Canada, sometimes you lose everything for, let's say, 5-10 seconds.
Wow. And you said just during that time you're on instruments to stay wings level, basically?
Yeah, that's the way to get out of that. Yeah, sometimes you have ember going inside of the plane as well. So
When you fly directly over a fire, this might be a silly question, but do you feel a change in temperature? Like, can you notice it?
yeah, you're gonna feel the hot, and you're gonna see the ember. You're gonna heard the different temperature hitting the plane, just like a compressor stall on the engine. So, yeah, so you're gonna feel it for sure.
Okay. The fires were eventually contained as of the 31st of January 2025. How did it feel when those fires were finally under control? Was there a sense of relief, a job well done feeling, or were you just excited to go home?
There was a feeling of relief. We all try our best to make that happen as soon as possible. But since we have a plane broke down, we didn't be able to go there as often as we would like to. And we've been assessed to new fire after that because there was really big traffic over there, over the Palisade Fire and the other fires. So that was managing to put us on the new fire response. But it was certainly a relief from all the crew to feel the end of those days of tragedy for sure.
Yeah, I bet. As you know, the CL 415 has been involved in firefighting in California for decades. What do you think this aircraft means to the communities it serves down there?
I think the people in community over there, they are really glad we going there. It means security for them, means another tool in the box for the firefighting operation over there. So that's what I think they think, and I tend to think the same way. Another tool in the box, and that's good.
Yeah. And I mean, from what you've said, it sounds like the CL415 being purpose built for firefighting is putting a lot of water per hour on the fire. It's a great plane to have around.
Yeah, to my mind, is the best airplane or aircraft or best tool you can have for initial attack. But again, so you have to use it as it was designed for, so which is initial attack. And after that, of course, you have more other tools to help. It's a big teamwork you're gonna have to manage with that. So and you need to have all those tools in your box for sure to extinguish the fires. So
Right.
without any crew on the ground, you're not gonna be able to do nothing. And without aerial firefighting, the crew on the ground will be in danger. So there's a really big teamwork for that.
Right. Like, I think we said that in the first episode that basically the idea is the aerial firefighters are containing the fire and keeping it under control, and the people on the ground are actually putting it out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So the right tool at the right time.
Yeah.
So as we've said, it's been more than a month now since the LA fires were contained. I imagine it was somewhat of an emotional experience. You talked about seeing people trapped on rooftops, things like that. Have you thought about it? Have you been able to process it? Or is it something you just sort of professionally maintain your separation from?
I try to do separation from that, but for sure, sometimes I'm still thinking about it, about the fire, the intensity of the experience there. I was just talking this morning with the other pilot who was in the plane when he hit the drone, and was like lack of adrenaline from his side when he get back after the Palisade fire, and was like, what happening to me? So you try to keep your feelings away from that, but it's hard to do. So it's we still have some, I would say, maybe some stress or some fatigue from that, and we are about to restart our new season. So, but we have to put that on the back of us, and looking forward to next season, the next challenge we're gonna face up.
Yeah, for sure. It is challenging because when you go through these intense experiences, it takes time sometimes to process it and for it to rise to the surface. And you can realize months afterwards that, hey, I'm still carrying a bit of stress from this, or I'm still feeling some pretty strong feelings from what I saw, or things like that. So that must be difficult sometimes.
Yeah, but so far everybody feels good.
Good.
So I can talk to you in a few months from now. Maybe something gonna show up, but so for now, so far so good.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear it. What are the key lessons you've learned about risk management and decision making in high pressure aerial firefighting situations?
The key to me, it's even if it's on the weird, is slower is safer. So and it's gonna be faster as well. So if you go slower, you're gonna have time to see all the threats, everything. So that's gonna be safer in a way, and it's gonna be more efficient. So sometimes you have to step back and look at what you're gonna do and go forward after that. And after you have a plan, it's gonna be more efficient, so faster.
You know, it's funny. That reminds me of a expression I used to hear in the military sometimes, especially if I was flying with Americans, and it was slow is smooth, smooth is fast.
Yeah.
So basically, taking your time to do it right the first time is faster than rushing and making big mistakes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. When you heading to a drop, if you're not sure to drop to the right place, or not sure is going to be the most efficient way to do it, you should say it, and you should try another way or manage something to get the water the right place.
Yeah. And I imagine that's a crew effort as well. If anyone has concerns or if anyone has doubts, that's the time to speak up.
Yeah, exactly. And even with the ELCO and everything. So just make sure the guys who is in charge of the operation know what you're going to do, and you know what you want you to do. So there's no mistakes makes, no danger involved for the crew on the ground, or, it's going to be more efficient. So that's why slow is good.
Yeah. How dangerous is it for the crew on the ground if they get dropped on?
The drop down, if it's not, let's say, the main part of the drop, would be not really bad, but they can fail. That's going to be slippery. On Los Angeles, there's no really big tree, except if you are kind of valley or something like that, so you can break a tree. But in Canada, you can break a tree,
Oh yeah.
like a dead tree, something like that can fall on the firefighter on the ground. So for that reason, the firefighter in Canada, they are farther from our dropping areas. So we're not really concerned about that, because we still are concerned about that, but they're not supposed to be in the dropping area, since in Los Angeles they are closer from our dropping zones. So, but they are easier to see, so we can manage that safer. So that's one of concern, but it's not really. If you're not too low, it's not really dangerous.
Yeah, it sounds like there's ways to mitigate it both in Los Angeles and in Quebec.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. What would you say was the most memorable moment for you while you were fighting these fires?
The end of the first mission, after the first 2 hour and a half, I was really satisfied about the first mission at 2 hour and a half, and was quite a really good working with the headco in place from the LACT. Was really efficient for my mind. So that was pretty good, and I think my the other crew on the other plane was thinking the same way. So I think it would be the end of the first 2 hour and a half.
Yeah, just knowing that you had a good system in place and that you guys were going to be able to fight the fires with the help of the Helco.
Yeah, exactly. And the most efficient way we can do it on that fire. So we were protecting an area with people and home, so it was effective.
Did you have any scary moments while fighting the fires?
Not really, because you don't have time to think about that, so you just do your best you can do, and you don't have time to think really. So you do your turn, you push a pedal, and you heading back to the ocean. You do your best with the crosswind you have, and scoop, heading back to the dropping zone, drop and turn 40 degrees, 45 degrees, and then back to the ocean, and do it again. So no,
there's no time.
I will not say no. There's no time for that. Maybe after that, but not during the flight.
Did you find that there was some stress in between flights at all?
Maybe there was stress with on the second mission we had to go get water over the Castaic Lake, so that would make us crossing to Mountain Ridge. And with the wind we have that day was really bumpy. So after the day when we spoke together, we were kind of a stress with the turbulence we get over there.
Yeah. How intense was that turbulence?
It was severe turbulence, and we had the caution line coming out for the engine oil pressure.
Oh wow!
Because the CL415 is not authorized for negative G, so we cannot do like acrobatic flight with that. So there's only one oil pump, so there's no way to manage the negative G on the oil system. So they have momentarily blank of a master caution for the oil pressure, but there was like maybe quarter second or something like that, just enough to trigger the master caution, and you were not able to see what's going on. So, but it was happening maybe one out of two times we crossing the ridge. So we decided to go higher to cross the ridge to avoid that situation. But even higher was really rough.
So it was so rough that it was giving you guys negative G, and that was tripping the oil pressure master caution?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was as rough as that.
That's pretty intense.
Yeah. So we have a 5 points harness to be tied in the seat, and everything was tied to the hips, and try to stay in the seat.
Yeah, no kidding. It's not fun getting thrown around like that.
No, not really, not really.
So it's likely these kinds of fires are going to become more common. What do you think needs to change in order to make communities more resilient in the face of this kind of event?
Yeah, in my mind, it's gonna be maybe more often. I hope will be not like as bad as what we get last winter, but with what we saw in the season 223 in the Canada and last winter in California, the weather in the world will be looks like going drier and unstable. So that's gonna bring situation like that. So I don't know what to do with that. Like just like everybody, I think.
Yeah, it's a big question.
Yeah, it's pretty big. It's probably people should be ready to have a go away bag or something like that. When you are in the area in danger of that, like in Los Angeles in the vicinity of a brush or wild terrain. So that would be the best way. Just try to keep yourself safe and your family. And I don't think there's nothing you can do against the element at the end. So you can do your best, but the element will win.
Yeah, that's good advice, though, to have a go bag ready to go if you're living in an area that's prone to forest fires or brush fires. That's a really good thought.
Yeah.
So let's talk about firefighting in Quebec. First of all, you've mentioned the 2022-23 season being pretty intense. Can you just tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, there was in Quebec was the biggest season we ever had. So, and it was my first season as a chief pilot. So that
Oh,
was a really challenging season for me. And yeah, we almost every pilot in the Service Incremental almost hit the trigger of the duty hours, monthly hours.
oh, the maximum duty hours.
Yeah, the maximum duty hours. So it never happened before. It happened with one group, but not with all the pilots. So that was challenging to try to manage that. And the fire was close from the city in Quebec. So this is we are not used to in Quebec. Normally, the fire happen quite a bit far from the city. Sometimes we have one fire from close by a city, but it's pretty rare that we have more than one. So, but on a 2023 was every fire was almost close from a city or reserve. So that was really intense.
Does that just raise the stakes for you guys, or does it also make it more challenging?
That was making more challenging, to be in the air and try to do our best. But sometimes it's frustrating when you see the fire there and you don't have the ability to go because your timex or for the day you don't have crew, so you have plane on the ground. This is more on the management side, but that was the reality what we are facing on the 2023. So we have plane down for lack of crew. So that was pretty rough to manage that and try to make a move with the crew to put the plane back in the air. Doing a training during the morning, exam at like noon, and doing the fire mission in the afternoon.
Wow.
So that was a really long day for the training department, and everybody was involved in all of that, the management team. So it was a long day.
Yeah, that sounds like long, intense days.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
The summer firefighting season is only a few months away. What will that look like for you, and how are you preparing for what's ahead?
Yeah, it's almost there for sure. We started training like pretty soon next Friday, so there's lots of training to do. There's new hiring pilots. We're still looking for pilots, by the way, if somebody is want to come. And yeah, so it's going to be training for the next, let's say, 5-6 week for us, and check out for the new hiring pilots. And after that, it's going to be back in the preparation for the Los Angeles County.
Yeah.
So lots of training, simulator, and the in flights.
Yeah. And then you do it all again.
Yeah, and paperwork and deployment to Los Angeles again at the in the falls, and just cross finger. This is going to be a slow season this year.
Yeah, no kidding. Because you said what, over 100 days away as a aerial firefighter every year?
Yeah, the pilots normally do in Quebec the what the guy's doing is around 65 to 75 days out on the schedule of 15 days on, 3 days off. And after that, on top of that, you have to have the one rotation in Los Angeles, which is almost 30 days. So it's close by 100 days per pilot out of the of home.
Do people find that's tough on their family life?
Yes, yes. Yeah, it certainly needs a good synergy in the with the family and with the kids for body have the kids and wife, and yeah, it's tough. Last winter was pretty tough for all all the pilots involved in the situation of Los Angeles for sure.
Yeah.
Because the season extend until the February, so that was really very long for them.
Yeah, that is a long one.
Yeah, I've done I think 110 days in Los Angeles last winter, so
Oh,
that was long.
that's tough.
And yeah, and it is on top of that you have to put the days in Quebec out of home.
So how do you manage that with your family?
Just try to don't have my doggy bag on the outside of the house when I get back, you know. So yeah, but what I doing it's just try to be when I am home. I'm just try to be with the family and try to don't work or don't think about work, which is pretty rough for me.
Yeah.
So because I'm still in management, so that the phone ring all over the time. So that's pretty tough. But that's my goal, and just sometimes we just go out in the forest and where there's no signal and everything. So there's really family times.
Yeah. Yeah. Making sure you get that dedicated family time in when you're not working.
Exactly. Just go on a vacancy or something, some place outside
Yeah.
without any phone.
How do firefighting conditions differ in California and Quebec?
Yeah, it is different. You know, the way we get water over there, it's different. The territory is different with the mountain and the vegetation, and the purpose of the way they use the 415 in Los Angeles and in Quebec is different. So we're more used as initial attack in Los Angeles than what we are in Quebec. Even if we're still in the initial attack in Quebec, with the bigger terrain to protect is different, because sometimes you have to do an hour and a half to go to the fires. So that's still initial attack, but since we don't have enough base to protect all the region, so it's hard to get there. Let's say like in Los Angeles in 5-10 minutes, 20 minutes. So the goal is to be there in 45 minutes, but sometimes it's not possible.
Okay.
Because there's no airport somewhere, so you're gonna have to fly to go there, and that's it. So that's a different way to do it.
What are the challenges specific to firefighting in Quebec?
One of the challenge when you get in the June, the fire can go really deep in the land. So you're gonna put water and water and water, and that's gonna affect the fire. You're gonna see the open flames, but you go back for fuel and you're coming back to the incident, and it's gonna be relighting because the wind was picking up or something like that, and just hamper somewhere, some place on the routes and getting out. So that's one of the challenge for sure, because with all the terrain we have to protect here, there's not enough firefighter in the ground. So sometimes you leave an area and you say, "Oh, that's good. we've done a good job here, and there's no more fire here. You leave, you get at the base, fuel up, eat, and get a call for the same place because there's nobody in the ground, so you have to go back.
That must be frustrating.
It is, but it's part of the big terrain to protect.
Yeah, for sure.
Most likely is middle of nowhere, so there's no issue for the public safety or something like that. But it's still frustrating.
Yeah, it's just the loss of forest.
Yeah,
Yeah. But I mean, like you said, Quebec is huge, right? So you can't expect, like, there's only so many people, so many ground crews, and Quebec is enormous. So those are the things you're going to run into.
exactly. Just like other provinces, BC is like that as well. You cannot have people all over the place ready to fight a fire. So
Yeah. Where is it easier to get water for firefighting and why?
I would say on the lake for sure, on the big lake.
So Quebec?
Quebec is pretty good because we have really lots of lake. There's many lakes, so more lake you have, more chance you have to have a good line on the one closer the incident. So yeah, I would say close by lots of water source.
Overall, which theater is more challenging when it comes to firefighting, Los Angeles or Quebec, and why?
It's definitely more challenging to fight fire in the Los Angeles because it's middle of a city. There's a camera all over the place filming you with the a chopper over the TFR with a big camera zooming on you, so you have more pressure to don't miss the drop. And yeah, so there's and it's middle of the just like the Palisade fire was right in the neighborhoods, so with people on the ground. So it's definitely more challenging in California.
Okay. All right, we're going to wrap it up with a few final questions. Firefighting is emotionally and physically difficult. What is one thing you do to stay ready to do your job?
Just I try to have a good rest and stay in shape. So have a walk, running, or anything you can do to stay in shape. But the main goal is have the good rest, good sleep, and be ready for the next day.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to hear that answer, especially with the nature of what you guys do. It's just you're going every day, right? Or you're either going or you're on standby. So you pretty much have to be ready all the time. So rest would be crucial.
Exactly. Good food as well.
Yeah. You have extensive experience in firefighting and flying in general. What do you think makes a great firefighting pilot?
I think it's combination of knowledge, experience. You need to be pretty calm, even if it's really stressful. You want to rush the thing. You want to go fast, but you need to stay calm in that and put the priority in the good place. So I think you need to manage everything of that, and for sure in the beginning be open mind to learn the good way to do it. So yeah, I think it's about that. So knowledge and open mind to learning the way to do it. Because even if you're a good pilot on the something else, we had a fighter jet pilot before coming here, and there was like, oof, that's something. So, and I'm pretty sure I'm going on a fighter jet. I'm going to be, oof, that's something. So, it's a specific job. So you have, even if you have a big experience on back of on your background, you have to stay open mind to learn the way you can do it safer. And so yeah, it's about it.
So arrive humble and ready to learn.
Yep.
Yeah. If you were talking to a young pilot today who wanted to get into aerial firefighting, what advice would you give to them?
I would give it to them. Be ready to leave home.
Yeah.
So be ready to be away from home, and that's a better job. You can have it in my mind. It's it's pretty good. It's challenging. So you have a sense of giving back to the community as well. So it's one of the best jobs in my mind, but it's certainly tough to get there. It's tough to get the experience to get there, but it's worth it. It's worth it. So
Awesome. Okay, Pascal, that does it for our chat today on aerial firefighting and the fires in LA County. It was such a pleasure to hear your story, and thank you for the work you do and for being on the show.
my pleasure. Thank you.
All right, fly safe.
Thank you.
All right, that wraps up our chat with Pascal Duclos on aerial firefighting in LA and Quebec. For our next episode, we have a very special guest coming. We are proud to announce we will be interviewing Lieutenant General Eric Kenney, current commander of the Royal Canadian Air Force. Do you have any questions or comments about anything you've heard in this show? Would you or someone you know make a great guest, or do you have a great idea for a show? You can reach out to us at thepilotprojectpodcast@gmail.com or on all social media at @podpilotproject. And be sure to check out that social media for lots of great videos of our RCAF aircraft. As always, we'd like to thank you for tuning in and ask for your help with the big three. That's like and follow us on social media, share with your friends, and follow and rate us 5 stars wherever you get your podcasts. That's all for now. Thanks for listening. Keep the blue side up. See ya!
Engineer, shut down all